Architectural Builder Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
Entry set with the emergency egress, thing where the lever opens it. And we are having massive issues with the thumb locks. They were installed about 2005. And so they're starting to fail now. And I had put a new one on my door because I did a renovation of my unit. And so I got a new one from Baldwin in 2020. It failed on me already once. I've put the replacement thumb latch in, and it's looking like it's not going to work, like it's having issues again. So I think the quality of the new Baldwin stuff is not up to par. And so I was talking to our manager and I said, listen, we need to really come up with a solution. We've got wooden doors. And I said, I don't know if there's another brand or something else that can fit that same, where we've got the holes drilled.
Yeah, what Baldwin lock do you have?
It's the Manchester. Let me just pull up my email.
Is it from the estate collection?
I believe so, yeah.
And you're having a problem with the thumb piece not working?
Yeah, and the other thing with mine in particular is that the inside lever, you know how, of course, people open the door. When they're coming in, they want to grab something to close the door. And the lever handle is actually coming out. It's shifting. And so it's moving a bit. I don't know if the spindle is too long or too short. It's not grabbed properly inside. I'm wondering. So the locksmith did it, and he's the one that did it the first time, and it failed. So I'm actually going to take it apart and make sure that it's properly done. Because I think they've got a video online that talks about even how to do that. So the issue is it an issue with Baldwin? Because this locksmith says, the thumb latch always fails on Baldwin, but that's a dude that installed it. So maybe he's just done it, as you said, improperly.
I've been doing Baldwin for 3 decades. Their locks are practically flawless. I have sold them. I've sold millions of dollars of Baldwin, and I use it personally. And I had a thumb piece on the front door of my house for 15 years. I mean, it worked the 15th year, like the day I put it in.
Really?
I've never heard of this being a problem.
Yeah, gosh. And so this locksmith's saying, it happens all the time, so we keep these thumb latches in stock. Yeah. So I can tell you, it's called the Manchester handle set, and the model number is 85350, and then the finish is 151.
Antique nickel, maybe? I forget what 151
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the antique. And it's got the lever, which is a 5455V, it says.
Okay. Yeah. I'm reasonably familiar with the Manchester. It's an escutcheon with a colonial style pull, I think.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess the thing is, I had contacted Baldwin. They sent me the repair part, and the locksmith installed it, and it's still having my lever shift. Do you guys sell the repair parts? And what would you, if we're having an issue with these on the doors starting to fail, would you say replace it with the same one? Would you say you're saying you're happy with the Baldwin?
Not using those words, but I have never had an instance where I would consider anyone's mortise lock decorative trim other than Baldwin.
Okay.
I've got clients of mine that I installed this stuff for in the 90s. It still works.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's unusual about your application that's causing the problem.
I don't know.
A lever may be if your door is extremely heavy and people are really pulling on the lever, you might want to change the lever to a knob. If you're getting
inside.
that kind of lever, that kind of leverage.
Okay, well that's.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with what a repair package would be for that. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, and you know what? I think I kept the box here. And so maybe that is something that we need to get from Baldwin themselves.
Well, the bottom line is your hardware is under warranty, so that's your path.
Yeah. It's just, we've got some that are, the thing that they sent me was there's a conversion kit, rectangular egress. And the model, if I give you the model number, do you have access to that, you think?
Well, I've accessed everything Baldwin.
The product? Okay, so it's 5399.151.N.
I don't see how that has anything to do with a mortise lock.
No? Okay.
Now, unless that can be used in a mortise lock, but that's for cylindrical locks, not for mortise locks.
So
do you have a mortise lock, or do you have a? Well, in the edge of the door, do you have a big 8-inch cutout in the edge, or is it a 2 1/4-inch cutout for the latch bolt?
It's a 2 1/4.
All right. You've got So okay, I was thinking the estate line all along. So I'm suspect of that lower quality material. I've never like what the images was. I've never used it, and I because I use mortise locks on everything. So I don't. Would I be surprised that you had a problem with a Baldwin cylindrical thumb piece? I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it's happened.
Yeah. Okay.
But I have no actual experience with this item.
With this item. Okay.
Yeah.
And so in terms of what you sell, it's the mortise. Do you have any idea if a door that had this cylindrical can be retrofitted for the mortise? Because we've got wooden doors.
Yeah, I would say that it can be. Because that Manchester trim, the installer would have to look at the template to make sure that they could line everything up and drill all the new holes necessary. I believe that it would work, but it would have to get analyzed. The templating would have to get analyzed by the person who's going to do the work.
Yeah. Okay. Because what it says here is like when I'm on the Baldwin website, it says home, estate door hardware, entrance, Manchester handle set.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're saying
it's funny. I was just at that what you just said about an hour ago with a walk-in client. BaldwinHardware.com.
Yeah.
And then you go to products, then you go to estate under portfolio, then you scroll down to door hardware, and then you click on entrance.
Yeah.
And then that's where the good stuff is.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a line called images, and there were 10 years down the road after that material, people call up looking for latch bolts and whatnot. But hey, a 10-year-old privacy set, something's going to break.
Right. Yeah.
Plus that was something you could have bought in Home Depot at the time.
With the Manchester one or
the images, their residential line
of
the stuff that would be akin to what you've got there.
Okay. And so within, what you sell of Baldwin, is there, because I don't know if we necessarily need to stick with the same look, but we need to definitely have one that is higher quality. And you're saying that any of the cylindrical lock, though, is not as good a quality as the mortise.
I didn't say that, but I would endorse that statement. I would absolutely agree. It would be a no contest difference between anything mortise lock and anything below that in terms of quality.
Okay.
The mortise locks these things last for decades. If Baldwin was in business if they were in business earlier than 1946, you'd see stuff from the 19th century that still works.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I love those guys.
And then would you be able to sell something that changed from the lever into the knob, say for my door, since I'm having issues?
That's just a matter of, actually, I don't know. I don't know if you can change that trim on that unit. I would imagine that you could replace the entire inside half of the grip, and I'm sure that you can mix and match trims for the inside. And I would certainly look to going to a knob just because it's, easier on the hardware.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm quite sure that you could, any trim that they make available for that series of lock you have, I would know. And you might have, I don't know what series you have. You may have the Prestige. I don't know.
Well, you mean in terms of the finish?
No,
or that lifetime?
No, the line of material. I don't see anything in the Reserve or Prestige that's called Manchester, only in Estate.
No, in the Estate, yeah. And so is the Reserve and the Prestige higher quality?
No. Mm-mm.
No. Okay, so the Estate's the highest quality.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that repair part that the Baldwin guy, you can sell it to us
Well, I can order it.
Yeah. Okay. Because what I'm saying to our manager, right, is that these are starting. She's like, got another unit. What's going on with your door? And I said, listen, we need to find a solution. And I said, these guys were great in terms of speaking to them. And I said, if we decide on another style, we got to buy all 40 from them. And this locksmith, I think, is just not that great.
Well, he might be not that great, or he might be just telling you that, these things break. And, there's, from what I can tell by the pictures that I found online, there seems to just be a pin that holds that thumb piece in. So there's something substandard based on the ultimate use of the opening that's causing the problem.
Yeah. Okay.
That, and part number gives you a whole bunch of different pieces in it.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Yeah, and it could be the latch bolt too. It could be. Yeah. It could be the latch bolt's funny. It's not retracting. I imagine when you hit the thumb piece, it's either somewhat limp or dead, or doesn't pull the latch bolt completely. Yeah.
Yeah, and so the issue is I'm on the 4th floor of our condo unit, and that is the only door that has any ground or anything to it. And so if we're inside, we can open up the screws and get out. If we're on the outside, the only way to get in is to remove the security hinges off the door if something happens. I was like,
yeah, you're saying because your thumb piece will fail and you won't be able to pull the latch bolt back. Yeah.
Exactly. You're either stuck inside or outside. So,
egress is a problem.
It is, for sure, especially when there's nothing else around that you can get. Like even my windows that I'm looking at right now, there is no ground behind it, and the walkway is about 7 feet away. So we're breaking down our door.
No, you don't. Yeah, you don't want to do that.
No. Okay. So we could look at certainly a different style if we want to try to modernize, and it looks like all of the Baldwin ones have the same hole location. If you're going with it certainly seems to, anyways.
If you're going to remove what I expect you have on the door and upgrade it to the Estate mortise lock, it will be a substantial amount of work to do that.
Okay.
Not only labor, but it is to be thought about in terms of a significant additional charge.
Right.
The trim alone is probably $350, just the exposed hardware. Then the lock body is going to be $300, the cylinder or the thumb turn. So now, while you could replace yours and have that Manchester design, so you don't interrupt the flow of all the Manchester designs, you could expect this to be a not insignificant dollar cost project.
Right. Okay. And then the issue with the door and all that stuff too.
But it'll be the last time you ever think of it.
Right, which is nice because of where we're located. I thought my dog's going to be locked in the house and I'm going to be outside. Okay, so in terms of getting replacement parts, the repair kits, the thumb latch, all of that stuff, we certainly could buy direct from you guys and have you ship them all.
Yeah, I can definitely. That part number, like I said, I'm not familiar with it. I understand that it's some sort of a rebuild kit. It's like everything except the exterior trim.
Really? Yes.
I can supply that material. There's no doubt.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Have you called Baldwin?
I have not called Baldwin this second time. When I bought my new one, I bought it from them. And then when I needed the replacement, I spoke to their tech line and they sent me the replacement. I have not called them since this replacement is starting to do the same thing.
Yeah. So the reason I ask is I would call them and say, hey, listen, love your product, but just what's the inside baseball? Why, is there a possibility my installer's doing it wrong? Or do you get these calls more often than you would like? And that might lead you down a path of, eventually we're going to have to replace it, or we're going to have a lot more replacement repair kits on hand.
Right. Exactly. Right.
And the reason I suggest that is because of how superb the people at Baldwin are. Just patently superb. I won't bore you with the reasons that I know that, but I would call them and just say, hey, just give me the inside track, because I need to decide how we're going to handle this.
Exactly, right. Okay, great. Well, Richard, thank you so much. I've given your name to our manager just in terms of, I said, going forward, let's deal with these guys. And so we will be getting back in touch with you.
Wouldn't I remember you more for the famous prior residence of yours in Key Largo? Isn't that why I would know?
Oh, well, definitely we spoke probably back then. Yeah. But it was my husband's, because, again, I was talking about our locksmith and how we had the Adams right. I installed it the first time, the paddle, and it lasted for like 3 years. And then this dude on island, the door guy, did it. And it lasted a week.
Yeah. I recall speaking to you, and I said to myself, I think you may have, either I thought it or said it, you may have missed your calling. You should be a technician.
Yeah, I think so, right? I know. It's crazy, but I think part of it is I think the guys come down and they reinvent themselves, and they're not detail focused.
No, and the term locksmith is thrown around so loose. I'm a locksmith. Yeah. I mean, I have the credentials behind my name. And I can tell you this, there are certain parts of locksmithing that my cat knows more about than I do. So, just because you're a locksmith, it just doesn't mean you have skills in a particular area. There are things that I am so inept at that it's laughable. And it's laughable that I have the credentials in certain areas that I'm extremely weak. Other areas I'm quite strong in. So that term locksmith is extremely broad. You might be good at this and you may not be good at other things. So
exactly, right. And so no, that's perfect. So, I'm sure we'll be getting back in touch with you probably in the next little while, because we're going to have some of these kits on hand, and we're going to have to be, considering what do we do.
Excellent. Let me know how it turns out.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, Richard. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.